All right, welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned. It's still Moneyline with Nonsense, the first part of our discussion segment. We have joining us this morning to look at the issues of insecurity and its impact on the economy, David Okoro. David Okoro is a security analyst and expert. Welcome to the program, David.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's just start by you giving us an appraisal of Nigerian security situation as it is currently. And most people want to know how security really affects the economy of Nigeria.
Well, thank you very much. The state of Nigerian security is dire. We have a serious situation. You know that most part of the country is under one form of attack or insecurity of the other. You are talking about Boko Haram, you're talking about banditry, you're talking about headsmen, you're talking about kidnapping. I think this is a bit much for any country. I mean, even one of these several insecurity what we see is adequate to destabilize the country, but we have so many of them. So it's a major problem. But then you ask the nexus between insecurity now and the economy. I think it's huge. You cannot, the foundation of modern economic enterprise is security. You must have security as a foundation for developing national prosperity. If you want to grow your economy, there must be predictability of security. For instance, you will come here this morning if you are not sure of your security. Nobody is going to open the market today if you are not sure of security. People will not come and invest in your city, in your country, if there is no security. So this is the reason why security is fundamental to any modern nation in terms of economic production and national development.
All right, you just mentioned there that the issue of insecurity is very dire, and that means that we need to have like steps or serious urgent steps being taken to address such issues. How would you rate what is happening right now in terms of what the security agencies are doing?
I think we need to do more. I think we need people talk about money, and I said money is not the first thing. We need to look at our security sector. That's what we call security sector reform. We need to ask ourselves the question as a nation, what is our national aspirations? What do we expect from our country? What kind of country do we expect to have? We need to ask ourselves in 15, 20 years, 30 years, where do we want to be? And then you now need to determine what kind of security sector can deliver that. What kind of security sector do we need to ensure that there is no Boko Haram, the banditry is there with the headsmen and all that. When you have determined the kind of security, the kind of aspiration you have, and then you now ask yourself, like I said, what kind of security do you need to get there? What kind of security sector? When you have determined that, then you need to ask yourself, how do we get that kind of security we are looking for? I mean, and then before you are now talking about what are the things we require to deliver this security. So, but what we are doing right now is throwing money at the problem. We have not determined our national aspiration. We are not determining the kind of security that will take us there. What kind of, now today we are talking about Boko Haram. In 20 years, in 15 years, what will be the new security threat and challenges our nation will face? What about our neighbors? What is the new political development? What are the technological issues? So we need to sit down as a nation and determine where we want to be, what kind of security can deliver us there. They will do our reform, and then you can begin to say, okay, we need to have our security that is more civil. We need them to be more equipped. We need them to be more trained. What kind of training do they require? What kind of equipment do they require? What kind of technology do they require? This is what we need to do, which we are not doing now.
But don't you think we have stated this in our national interest? We have stated what we want to achieve in security, where we should be in years coming. Don't you think it is all embedded in our national interest? Is there a difference between our national interest as a country and what we need separately from security?
No, you see, within the milieu of the national interest, like you say, security is what will deliver your national interest.
Exactly.
For instance, national security says, look, we are able to protect ourselves against external aggression, and we can deal with whatever internal aggressions we have. Now, that is it. But we need to encapsulate this properly so that the journalist will know what is his role within this national security architecture we are developing. The teacher who is in primary school will know what is his role in this national security aspiration that we have and the program we have defined. The policeman will know, the army will know, the pilot will know, the woman who is selling groundnuts will know. So we need to have a document or just some form of document that everybody will understand what is their role, so that when you are going to report next time, there are some things that your editor will say, for the good of the national security, we cannot have this on air. You know, this is what I'm talking about.
We're talking about like a blueprint, so to say.
Yes, more or less like a national document, policy, something. Yes, something that
strategy to follow.
Yes, strategy that we have.
Now
we have, but it is not.
Yes, because I know there's been something of such. Yes. I think we have a document, but that brings me to the question of the issue of, you want to say, interagency rivalry, because I know that issue is actually being managed or being addressed, so to say, but we know very well, we've heard of situations where one security agency has information and doesn't want to release to the other, and how you now see that in terms of implementing a blueprint, because the one security wants to take the glory.
And we've seen, we've also seen where security agencies have the same function, serving the same function, clashing on the road.
Yes, all this happened because this document have not been properly developed, outlined, so that we have a national security policy. But have you seen a copy? You're a journalist. Have you ever seen a copy? Have you seen a copy? How many people have seen the copies? And therefore, you cannot integrate it into what you are doing. Now, the document I am speaking about this morning, or whatever you like, whether a policy or whatever, or a framework, is the one in which the Ministry of Agriculture will see their own role in national security. Okay. The Ministry of Social Development will see their role. The education sector will see their role. So national security is not about the
ordinary man.
It's not about traditional security of police and soldier and gun. No. Security are past all that. All of us are part of the security architecture, but we must be able to let everybody know what is their role, in a very plain term, so that anybody who sees it will be able to run with it. But as it is now, we don't have that. And you throw money at the system. What kind of police are you training? What kind of policemen are you training? What is their objective? Is it just for election security or for what? So we need to be very clear about this. Until we do that, we're just throwing money into the pit.
Okay, relating to the aspect of money, budget, like we were discussing before coming, Henry, Ministry of Interior 577 billion naira in the 2018 budget, Ministry of Defense 576 billion, the National Security Advisor's Office 123 billion, total of 1.85 trillion, about $6 million. Yeah. Is that adequate? Because you've spoken about train money, and in this amount we're looking at recurrent.
Now, the problem again is, you give money, what is the milestone? What are they to achieve? You have given them this amount of money. So we assume that we give you this money, at the end of 1 year, we should have an output. We should have input and output. So what are they supposed to achieve with that kind of money? Because you are throwing money at a problem you are not properly even articulated. And you have not even determined what role each person should play. So this money now goes into training, go abroad and get trained in some things, pay salaries, maintain office. That's the end. And so you can expect that next year, the situation we have now will be what we have, or even it will degenerate, because you just throw money at a problem you have not articulated, and you are not even properly brought people to the table to say, look, we are giving this money, this is what at the end of the day we expect.